not just maybe the best card game on the planet, but our new caller is Rook. How are you doing, Rook?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Can you flesh out your intro? I've got your intro as God existing isn't necessarily a bad thing, except when used for anti-science rhetoric. I think Forrest might have a few things to say about this.
Yes.
Is there anything more to that you want to add?
Yeah, I misspoke a little on the phone. What I was trying to say is that people believing that God exists it shouldn't, in a perfect world, shouldn't be an issue, but in the imperfect world, it can be used to push not just anti-science rhetoric, but just hateful, negative things, and to the detriment of humanity.
Okay. So, like, what do you mean perfect world in this case? Because I don't see a way in which believing in a God does not run an extreme risk of justifying hateful behavior, excusing willful ignorance, of leading to, false beliefs. Like, I don't see a way in which that happens. So explain what you mean by perfect world.
Basically, the concept I'm trying to get at is that if half the population believes that God exists, but just like kept it to themselves, like they could have whatever beliefs they want, but they could just think in their head, oh, whatever, that person, I don't agree with what that person's doing, they're probably going to go burn in hell. Anyways, I'll continue with my day. That's like the perfect world where everyone just kind of minds their own business and doesn't push it on other people. But in our imperfect world, the natural, like, human instinct is to make everyone believe and follow you. And when people with dangerous beliefs get into power because enough people are following them, it can turn into just hate without it. It's not even connected to it's barely connected to their belief in God. Just they hate this group of people and are using religion to justify it and justifying doing horrible things.
Okay. So I see how that's the extreme. The issue that I'm having is that, like, even in the most benign sense, if you are holding a belief that you don't have real justification for, especially like, because everybody does, everybody has little things that they play with themselves in their head about little things that they believe that they may not interrogate quite as well as they could potentially. Like, everybody makes mistakes, everybody has all these issues. But when you have something that's this extreme about the creator of the entire universe and the nature of, like, the entire reality that you live in, that's a much bigger thing to worry about. You know what I mean? So, like, that's, for me, I don't know. I have a hard time with this idea that it's only a bad thing in the extreme case that somebody uses this to, like, force hateful behavior on people. I don't know about that.
Like, what I'm trying to get at is if two people have the same beliefs, they can go believe together and do what they want. Even if they believed, I don't know, the earth is flat, and someone's saying, here, look at all this evidence the earth is flat. The people who just believe the earth is flat can go, like, listen to them and be happy and not push on other people. But the issue is that it's pushed on everybody when you broadcast it. So people who don't believe it get angry at those people, and people who do believe it get angry.
That's the case.
Getting angry.
That's the case about any belief about anything ever. If that's the way that we're using the term push on people, then, like, anytime anybody talks about anything, then that would be pushing something.
Not necessarily, because you could just say, hey, I believe in God, and then that's it. Like, I believe in God, and the other person could just say, I don't, and that's the end of it. But that's not human nature. Human nature is to say, I believe in God. Why don't you believe in God? Well, I don't, because all the evidence, you're just being stupid believing in it. Well, I think you're stupid. There's so much evidence for this. And
okay, so is the issue that you're having is that some people are a little bit of an asshole? Like, is that? I fundamentally, maybe I'm missing this. I don't understand how this works, where you're saying that belief in God is a good thing as long as people are not necessarily a bad thing, as long as people aren't being jerks to each other about it. Like, I'm sorry, no, I think fundamentally the belief in God, even for the individual living in a vacuum, is going to be a hindrance on that person.
I totally agree that it would definitely be a hindrance on that person. What I'm trying to get at is that if everybody just kind of didn't yell at each other about it, that person could be hindered and be happy that they don't think they're being hindered, but they are, and they can go sit in a corner and be hindered and not care because they're happy and they get to believe what they believe.
And that's what you're calling a perfect world. That's what you were calling a perfect world, is a world where we don't care enough about each other to call out harmful beliefs?
No, a perfect world is people would believe what's actually evidence for, and what there actually is evidence for, and that they should be like kind or whatever, just the good beliefs. But people will inevitably have bad beliefs. So the only way to make that work is for them to just go believe what they believe instead of trying to force it on other people.
You just said the same thing in a circle. It would be best if people have true beliefs, but inevitably they won't. And so the best thing to happen is that they just believe whatever they believe and nobody stops them. And I disagree. I think the best world would be one where we can have these kinds of discussions and debates in a really productive, healthy way where, yes, there are emotions involved, but not necessarily letting those emotions get in the way of your reason. And yes, there's reason involved, but not necessarily letting super strict, crazy logic getting in the way of your humanity. And like, it's like, these are things that I think we're actually doing pretty well as a culture, is that we're able more and more to talk about these things and discuss these things. And yes, get angry about these things because these are emotionally charged topics. To have someone just want to go sit with their shitty beliefs is to not respect them enough to want to call them out and say, hey, this is a terrible thing you're believing here, and I love you enough to point out the fact that this is a hindrance to your life and your society. Because at the end of the day, those beliefs that they have are not stopping with them. Even if it was just hurting them, that would be bad enough, but it's not stopping with them. It changes the way they treat other people. It changes the way that they vote. It changes the way that they behave. It changes the way that they think about the world that they live in and how they're going to treat that world. Like, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you that a perfect world would be one in which people just shut up about whatever they believe.
Yeah, I use perfect world in a weird sense. I'm just going to clarify a little bit more. What I'm trying to say is that I'm sure you've had friends in your life where you've talked to them and religion just hasn't come up. And just somebody could just say, in their head, say, I believe in God. I believe that the earth was created 6,000 years ago, whatever. And then you can believe that the earth was created billions of years ago. But as long as like they don't fight about it, basically, and as long as it doesn't affect their life, when it starts affecting things, then it's time to have like healthy conversations and good debates to try to fix the problems in the world. But on an individual basis in between people, if we could just like leave it alone, then everybody would be happy, and then the big issues we can work as a group to discuss.
I'm sorry, we're exactly where we have been this whole call. Justin, do you have anything else? Like, I feel like we've made no progress here.
Yeah, I don't actually think it's possible to believe something and not have it taint your reality and the reality of those that are living among you, because we have to vote, we have to serve in government, we have to be on school boards, we have to make decisions for the well-being of our children, we have to make decisions for the well-being sometimes of other children, right? And all of these decisions are going to be informed based on a host of beliefs. One of those beliefs is like your belief in God. And I'll give you kind of an example. This is one of my favorite collections of books. This in English is referred to as a bibliography of prohibited books, but originally it was in Latin. It was a library from the Catholic Church of books that were entirely banned, sometimes just sections of books that were entirely banned because they were considered dangerous. These are dangerous ideas, right? And so when you have a large group of people that have a collective belief, then they can actually enact policies that are based on that belief. And sometimes the policy is harmless. Sometimes the policy is like, hey, we think it's bad for kids to fall into, go into a library and be able to get different pieces of literature that are meant for adults. I think we can all agree on that. Like, there are certain protections as a society that we want to afford for other members in society, right? But if the majority of your government is part of a religious group, it's certainly true that they're going to make their list of protections different than if I wasn't religious. And then you can go even further. If you get like a government that is mixed religion and mixed government, meaning they have religious authority, then they can do truly horrific things. Like there's an edict that was issued in 1563 to basically just execute Anabaptists. These were Christians giving edicts to execute other Christians because they just didn't believe the religion the way that they wanted to. It says, if any minister of the Christian church is found guilty of having rebaptized anyone, he, together with the person thus rebaptized, provided that the latter is proved to be of such of age as to understand the crime, shall be put to death. And so this is what happens when you have beliefs. You act on them. It's not possible to believe in something and not have it spill over into your life, into your family, into your government. That's why religion poisons everything.
Yeah. I actually, being on this call, I didn't prepare it really well because I thought I would have to wait in the whole thank you for taking it. But you honestly
it's a fair point.
And
I understand what you're saying, though. Like you're saying, like, you know, really, we don't have to view religion as something as inherently bad. And I can't say necessarily that I would view all of them as inherently bad, but we've seen from history that some of them should not be tolerated. They need to go. They need to disappear and go back to the Bronze Age.
Yeah. I honestly, I believe you. Like now, I just thought of a point, and it's good on the surface level, but digging any deeper like we did on this call, it ends up not working out. Thank you for taking my call, though. I'm very happy to have
I appreciate you bringing up an idea. It's fun to talk about. I appreciate you calling in and listening to us and hearing us out. It's been great.
Thanks, Rook.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Cheers.
Bye.